Wow. Anime producers have had enough with leaks. My gosh, they're now calling out specific groups of people, and they've had enough with it. Honestly, this is something that's not new, this idea of these companies that make anime being frustrated with leaks, but yeah, this is a whole nother game. Honestly, covering anime for as long as I have, I really don't like leaks. I think the cons greatly outweigh the pros that when it comes to, yeah, it's nice whenever I hear about my favorite anime is getting a sequel. It gets me excited. Like, oh, here's a leak for this show that I really like, and they're saying there's a second season coming up. It gets me excited for the possibility of there being an announcement. Now, unfortunately, what comes from that is when it's not a real leak, it's actually fake, or in some cases, something is going to be in production, it gets leaked, and then it gets canceled. That's why they didn't announce it yet. But yeah, but the cons are too much. The cons are too much. You have spoilers. Obviously, when we had here recently last year, Attack on Titan's final chapter was coming out. They were putting out a warning to everybody, there's possibly a leak out there. Don't read it. Be careful where you look, and we're investigating it. It's something that doesn't do well because then people get to see the chapter and they get spoiled for them, or maybe not the whole thing gets released. It's very unfortunate, and obviously it's very detrimental to their sales and everything when this chapter gets out. Nothing really is beneficial when you have chapters or something that are leaked. Then again, like I said earlier, this aspect of something getting leaked and it's not true, or you don't know which one's the real one or if it's fake or not. And so yes, as I said earlier, this whole concept of these companies going after these people is nothing new. And Japan takes this stuff completely different and are much more serious about any sort of leak. It's obviously a breach on their confidentiality. They have groups of people that all sign NDAs, and when you find out that a leak gets out, they obviously need to investigate it because somebody within their team is doing something illegal, and that's pretty much how they put it. What you are doing is illegal by leaking this. This isn't fun games where you go, haha, I'll get people to know what's going on with behind the doors. They'll all know and they'll get excited and I'll get credit for it. No, this is very, very bad. And not only that, the other issue that they have with these leaks is it puts a lot of issues upon the companies themselves. If a show gets leaked or a sequel gets leaked, they often have to deal with that. If somebody says something that's incorrect or something that's wrong, I mean, we had here recently, a while back, there was a leak about a sequel for an anime series. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. Oh, Hyoka. When Hyoka was leaked before the actual anniversary announcement, everybody was saying it was a sequel. And so the companies are having to deal with all these people, Kadokawa and stuff, are having to deal with these people that are coming up and saying, where's the second season? Where's the second season? They never announced it, because everybody got this leak and they decided that it was going to be a second season. And so now going forward, you're probably going to have a lot of people that didn't get the news of the official announcement that are going to be expecting another season. It's misinformation that's kind of creates this misunderstanding that people believe something exists that doesn't. And these companies have to deal with that on a regular basis. Where's my sequel? We never announced a sequel. Well, you said Chainsaw Man was coming out this season. We never announced that. They have to deal with this misconception and this incorrect news because somebody leaked something out and didn't have the full context or didn't have the official announcement. Like I said earlier, sometimes these companies are working together to build something and then somebody releases that leak, but they haven't solidified when they're going to do something. So they can have a show that's possibly going to come out in summer, somebody leaks it, and then the production has issues and they have to do it in fall, but they've never announced it yet because they knew there's a possibility they'd have to delay it. So again, they have to deal with this. They have to deal with all these misconceptions and these ideas that people get from these leaks. But like I said, this is something that's not new in the anime sphere. Like I said, there's a lot of times where leaks get out and these companies say, hey, there's leaks out there and we're investigating it and we will take action. They obviously always are talking about it as being investigated and they're taking legal action. They don't want to mention names or anything because they actually want to either have the person remove it themselves and apologize, or they don't want the person to know because they're trying to get evidence against them. You never tell who you're investigating until you need to, because they're going to get rid of all the materials they have. And we'll get into that in a minute here in a second, so keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your head. But the really interesting thing that happened a couple days ago is that we kind of had at least somebody sort of called out. It wasn't directly stated by this particular animator, Naoyuki Onda, but they sort of implicated them. This is when I came across a tweet by Josuke. And Josuke had spoken about Naoyuki Onda, obviously an animator and a character designer. In this tweet, Josuke says, a few days ago, Naoyuki Onda, animator, character designer, talked about the leaks that have been happening recently in the anime industry. I'm going to share some of those things he would like people to overseas to know. And just to be clear, he's quoting Onda plus Dot. And Onda plus Dot is basically the management for Naoki Onda. And they're actually speaking on his behalf because obviously he's a very busy person. He says, I talked with him privately, and I'm guessing he's meaning Onda, said that they are concurrently investigating these leaks. Specifically on anime he is working on, like Urusei Yatsura, Bastard, MF Ghost, and specifically accounts like Sugoi Light. He says that they are very aware of these leaks, and they imagine that they are industry insiders that are leaking these teasers and information, which means a serious breach of confidentiality occurred in the production. On his words, we would like the specific account to be aware that this is committing a criminal act of stealing trade secrets and, if possible, to voluntarily stop. That's what I mentioned earlier. They would kind of like you just to not do it, but do it. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Continues, and if the leaks continue, legal action may take an action, I'm guessing. This is translated stuff. It gets a little messy at times. Continuing, there have already been restrictions on his work environment, such as not being allowed to exchange information with coworkers. This last part's a little bit sketchy, so let me see if I can make sense of it. Anime industry could face even more secretiveness and less interactive stage with fans if these leaks continues. That's what I'm guessing that kind of means. This idea that because this is happening, we can't converse with people enough like we used to. We have to be more restrictive and more secretive, and communication between different groups has to be less because they need to avoid these leaks. Again, like I said, it's damaging. It gets rid of hype. It cuts down how many people they can have at certain events where they're revealing this stuff. It could cause misinformation, people saying that they're seasons when they're not seasons. It could cause people having expectations for things that don't even exist, things existing to release when they're not supposed to release yet. All this stuff is not official until they actually announce it because they're still deciding. Continuing. Finally, for the sake of the anime industry and anime fans, we hope that people will stop getting info outside of official sources, and that fans will wait until the official announcement and not ask for leaks. I share this because I feel it needs to be aware of. Thank you so much for Josuke. Definitely go follow them on Twitter. That's JOSU_KE. And like I said earlier, this is kind of a thing that is conflicting for me. Like I said before, it's exciting to hear about a second season for something that you love. But like I said, there's too many cons, spoilers. I even find myself in what I do now to have issues with it because sometimes, yes, I feel like, and this is probably the same case for these leakers. These leakers love getting that information, so they get the attention. Getting the information first that's like what all the internet's about. If you want to get the most likes, if you want to get the most views, if you want to get the most retweets, it's being the first person to announce something. And that's often something that I run into as well. I had it here a few months ago when there was a leak about Chainsaw Man airing at a certain season. I think it was fall, which I think is still going to happen. I wanted to get the video out there. I seen the post. I'm like, there it is. Bam. Post a video. And guess what happened? It was fake. And that hurt me. That was like the last time. When that happened, I was done. I was done with the leaks. I was done with all this misinformation. I'm going to specifically, kind of similar to what they're asking, official sources only. If it's on their official website, their official Twitter account, directly from them, I'm not touching it. Because it's just too easy to get caught up in this misinformation. It's too easy to get caught up in giving people false hope. It's too easy to get caught up in being the first one to get the video up. And it's probably going to lead to me not getting as many views because I'll probably be the last person to post about it. But it's not doing any good but benefiting the person that gets the first click up. It's doing no good to anybody else. It's doing harm to the industry. It's doing harm to the fans because they're getting information that could be wrong or could be not quite fully 100% true, all for the sake of the person to post the video or the tweet to get their likes and their views. And again, too many cons for pros. I'll be interested to see, and like I said before, it's not necessarily him name dropping Sugoi Light, but I'll be curious to see how they respond to it or if they respond to it. I do know when I did a little Twitter search for Sugoi Light space leaks, didn't really find anything, so I'm guessing they went through and scrubbed their account of a lot of leaks. It does seem like they still want to continue doing that stuff. They still have it in their bio and everything, so I mean, I guess good luck to you guys. Honestly, this is an issue that's never going to fix. They're never going to have no leaks. There's always going to be some route that somebody will take to get information out there. Because again, people desire to be that first person to post about things. There's groups of people that have Discords and stuff that are dedicated just to that. There's no way they're going to stop leaks. It's always going to happen. Chapters will always be leaked. And it's unfortunate there's no way for them to really stop it. As much as they claim that they're going to investigate and take legal action, in a lot of cases, people are doing things specifically to avoid legal action. They're using VPNs and stuff to avoid trouble. Now, again, yes, technically, Japan, there's a lot of groups that are going after, I think it was NordVPN or something like that. They're going after the VPN companies that are basically protecting people behind it that have scanlations and stuff like that are being protected by a VPN, giving them anonymity. But there's only so far that you can stop this stuff. It's always going to happen. I mean, honestly, there is a concern that we as content creators in reposting those leaks are technically liable for lawsuits. Now, again, I don't know necessarily if that's something going to do, but they could technically go after channels, striking them and whatnot for those leaks. It's technically something we have to keep in mind going forward. I mean, again, this is something that's always been around. This post is nothing new. But the fact that they are now publicly announcing names, or at least people are asking about specific accounts and they are replying about them, does cause a little bit of pause when it comes to, again, getting ahead of the game and posting the thing before anybody else, before it's from official channels. But we'll see how it turns out. It's an unfortunate thing when you have literally these companies coming out and saying, look, this is doing nothing but hurting us. Can you please stop? But at the same time, the fans want it. The fans are going to keep getting it, and there's nothing that really they can do about it. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like leaks? Do you hate leaks? Let me know. I'd definitely love hearing from you guys. As always, if you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can get all my content, news, reviews, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. If you would like to support us more, we have a Patreon link and a tips link in the description below. We definitely appreciate everybody that supports us, and y'all take care.